Welcome back to another episode of the Artist Access. I'm your host, Siraj Ra-King. I'm Poetiklee Hotep. And y'all just heard my man, Poetiklee Speaking, just dropped some hot bars for us right quick. What's going on, King?
Man? How you doing?
Yeah,
Good
I like
to be
that
here,
piece, man.
man.
That was fire.
Thank you.
So look, let's jump right into this interview, man. So
Let's go.
You know, I seen you perform at the Fuff Fuff Poetry Anniversary show, right? And that's kind of like was my first time seeing you perform, like.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know you've been doing your thing for a minute, so I don't know why we didn't run across the other path. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, you know, it's been it's actually crazy. I've been writing for a while. I didn't hit a stage, man, until maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I really, when I finally started kind of going out, trying to see where are the venues in Houston, like what's popping, what's cracking, you know, poetry is one of those tight-knit communities to where you don't just find poetry. You got to know somebody who know poetry. Yeah, you got to know. So, you know, I had to go out and get with people and figure out where everything was. And so now people are starting to see me a little bit more, man, and starting to recognize,
Okay. Are you from Houston?
I'm from here, man. Born and raised. A-Town. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you've been writing, but you were like a year or two into performing
into performing, yeah.
Okay.
Did my first open mic in Fifth Ward at the fifth level. B-Tap actually put me on. Shout out to B-Tap. She really, you know what I'm saying, kind of nurtured that in me. My first stage, nervous, shaking, the whole nine, you know. Most of the poets, I know what that's about. And then I started going to the other one. I started going to Puff. I started going to Right About Now, Avant Garden. Started hitting We Go Live and just all the other different, you know, poetry spots around Houston, man. I started realizing, man, Houston has one of the dopest poetry scenes in the nation.
Dude, you talk about it. Cause look, I came here from New Orleans in 2017. And as soon as I got out here, man, I went on Facebook and I Googled Houston poetry scene. Bruh, so much stuff popped up, it blew my mind. Cause I'm from New Orleans, and New Orleans, it's like you were saying, you gotta know. And I wasn't in the loop.
Well, man, the one thing I tell people, you know, I know you got watchers from, you know, you got viewers from all over all over the states, man, and abroad, but Houston is one of the only spots I've ever seen that has a poetry night or two every night of the week. If you want poetry, you can find it here in Houston. If you want something that's page poetry, they got places for that. If you want something that's just straight up spoken word that has more of an urban feel to it, you got that. I mean, and you could be on this side of the field or that side of the field. It doesn't matter. Anywhere you go, you're gonna feel welcome. You know, it's man. I mean, you think about what Seven has going on with Poetry Lounge, man. It's one of the longest running poetry spots and largest poetry spots in the nation. You know what I mean? So it is.
Have you performed there yet?
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there. Yeah, we do that on Sundays. Sunday nights.
Yeah. That's what's up, bro. So take me back to like the beginning of you writing. Like what inspired you to even want to pick up the pen and put your thoughts on paper, man?
Man, look, I hate to be cliche.
Go ahead.
Right? I feel like most dudes start writing. It's always a woman. You already know what it is, man. It's always a woman, man. It's always either she did something so great that made you feel like, man, I gotta write about this, or it was so bad that you was like, man, I gotta write about this. But it started off from me just, you know, writing. It started off as letters, you know, and then from there, as I started getting a little bit older in my adolescence, I kind of started going through the heartbreak part of it and started realizing like, okay, I got to get some of these feelings off. And, you know, my teacher's been telling me, man, you're a good writer, blah, 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 blah. So I was, you know, trying to be sweet or whatever the case may be and writing these love letters or, you know, after a breakup or something, writing something about that. Every now and then I let somebody listen to it or let somebody read it and they be like, man, that's good. And even still, I put it down. You know, that was, I ain't gonna tell you how old I am, but that was back, you know, high school, college days, and it still took me to get in my 30s.
Hey, somebody go let MC Lotto go up. She at the door downstairs. Hey, yeah, we heard, hey.
It's all good. Hey. It's all good. We need MC Lotto. We need MC Lotto. But yeah, man, you know, I put it down for a while. I picked it back up. Actually, crazy enough, I was in Afghanistan. We had plenty of time to just write and do other stuff, you know, when we weren't working. So spent some of that time. They had a little open mic out there. I went out there and hit it up.
That's why Scott Free started out doing poetry in the military.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, I got to thank those guys for giving me my first. I say my first spot in Houston was, you know, the spot I was saying in Fifth Ward. That was my first time performing ever in the States, and that was 2 years ago.
Wow.
But I did get a little taste of the stage a couple of times in Afghanistan, where, you know, I got some people, man, that were way doper than me, and was just like so inspiring that I was just like, all right, not only am I gonna be able to do that one day, I'm gonna be good at it. So, you know, put in the work.
Bro, poetry, bro, but like being a fan of poetry as well as being an artist, when you just watching people up there spit them words, when it hits, it do something to you.
Yeah.
It sparks something in you. It ignites your fire to make you want to start to figure out what you're supposed to be doing.
Man, you know if it doesn't, they ain't doing it right. I'm telling you, yeah. Nah, man,
that's dope, bro.
Hearing some of the people that I've heard here in Houston and I'm a part of the Deadly Pens, man. Deadly Pens, shout out to Deadly Pens. Deadly Pens are a conglomerate of poets that we have from all over the states and abroad. We have people international, you know what I mean, that are a part of this team. And so I've had the opportunity to hear some of the dopest poets that I've ever heard before. Of course, being here in Houston, I've heard some of the dopest poets I've ever heard before. And it's not just about like, man, that sounds good. It's just, like you said, how it touch you in here, make you feel something. You know, some nights you just want to come back and chill and have a good time, and somebody will say something and you be like, wait, and now you listening. You know what I mean? And there's so many poets doing that, man. It makes you want to have that ability to touch somebody the way they touched you, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
A lot of sense, man. Like I said, man, I heard you that night at Puff Puff Poetry, and look, that's why I reached out and said, hey, you got to come on the show. You know what I'm talking about? And the piece you just spit, like we just spit just now, like I could tell you take this serious. You know what I'm talking about?
Man, I do, man.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
I do.